All right, all right. Stuff getting a little freaky in Rokkenjima, huh? All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Umineko, Chapter 17, Episode 3. Hello, Lunar Festival. How's it going? Welcome, welcome. Oh, Rysair, thank you for the
Rysair
resub.
VT Dance.
Rysair VT Dance. Thank you for the resub. Welcome back to Tournament Staff. 15 big months. I appreciate all the support. So yeah, welcome back to Rokkenjima, Umineko episode 3. We're close to the end, I think. We're well past the halfway mark, I imagine. Because we've been playing this one for a while. Gonna see how far we get today. As a bit of a recap, we had Sorry, hold on. Ah, my sound foam is falling. Hold on, let me fix that. Let me fix that. Okay. I think that's good enough. Okay. So, last time on Umineko, we had the witch battle. The witch battle was pretty cool. Battler denied the existence of witches in that by saying there's no evidence of it happening, which is true. And we kind of learned the golden rule where if the only evidence of something happening is you observing it on Rokenjima, that's not sufficient evidence to say that it actually happened. You can't trust your eyes on Rokenjima. Hold on, the sound foam's falling again. That's gonna have to do. It'll probably fall, but it's whatever. Sorry. Okay, so the witch battle happened, and then essentially the adults got to it. The adults kind of got to it. They said, let's try to solve this epitaph, because that's what we've been challenged to do. Somehow, using the idea of the Sweetfish River kind of tying into something metaphorical, Ava was able to find a secret room that led to the witch's gold. Found all the gold. And the inner Ava celebrated. Rosa also found this passage. She made it seem like she found it after Ava, but I get the hunch that she found it in the past and knew about it. Maybe she even found it when she was a child. And so those two met up in the tunnel, basically said, we got to tell the siblings about it. Ava said, I'll tell the siblings about it soon. And then the child Ava, the inner Ava, essentially, because she got the gold, inherited the title of Beatrice and the Golden Witch, the title of the Golden Witch. So she is now the Golden Witch. Former Beatrice is now being known as just Beto. And then Grandma Beatrice, the one before Beto, is Virgilia, is also here. So there's a whole coronation ceremony where young Ava becomes the new Beatrice. Now, me personally, if you ask me what's going on, I would say this is actually a chess move being made by Beto. And essentially saying, well, sure, Battler, you might not believe that I'm a witch, but if we do a whole succession ceremony and a new Beatrice is named and all this happens, perhaps you'll believe in witches overall, and I'll still win the game as a result. And that's where we left off. Admittedly, I am still not feeling great, so probably just be reading through this. I really want to see what happens. I want to try to get to the end of episode 3 on the next couple streams, and then probably start weaving in other content again with the Umineko. But I do want to finish episode 3 in a reasonably timely manner. Rosa returned to the lobby. It was still her turn to rest. but her expression made it look as though she couldn't sleep deeply with all this tension.
無理してでも横になってるよ。
Take it easy and lie down. Keep this up and you'll have it pretty rough later on. Thank you for your concern. I just couldn't fall asleep. How you doing, Mango? I see you over there. I don't know if I said hi already, but hi. I've already taken a shower, so I'm good for now. The next person can rest. What about you, Kiri? Rudolph? What will we do, Rudolph? Shall we rest? He said you can rest in peace. He's got the gun. I'll stay awake. It's the only manly thing I can do right now. Then I'll stay awake. Staying awake with my husband is the only womanly thing I can do right now. You two really are close. Oh no! Don't say they're close! That means they're dead! You should talk. It seems Eva and Hideyoshi are out cold. Ah, so this is how far you are. Missed the last one. Yeah. So we saw the whole succession ritual. Power word close. Power word kill. It appears that unlike Rosa, they can't fight against their age. As though in response to those words, the door to the hall clunked open. Eva and Hideyoshi returned from the guest room. That's none of your business. Oh, Rosa. Are you sure you don't need to rest yet? You should talk, Ne-san. Why not take it easy and sleep? Oh, they're both trying to kill each other. I just can't get to sleep. Taking a shower shook my drowsiness off. Oh, for some reason, I thought that was later in the episode. I think we're close to the end. I mean, I actually wouldn't have been surprised if that was the ending. But I reckon we have about 5-6 hours left. Rudolph, Kairi, you can rest if you want.
Oh, thank you.
Sure, thanks. I actually lost track of how many hours I've played this episode, but I think I'm like 8 or 9 in, maybe 10. So, like, I feel like they're about 15 each. So I can't imagine there's too much more of this story. But the way that scene played out, it almost felt like an ending. Sure, thanks. Well, for now, let's say I appreciate the sentiment. Why don't you go first, Aniki? How kind of you. But I cannot rest first. Nobody can rest. That is the most I can do as the oldest brother right now. Don't worry, the two of us will stay awake until the very end. They're just completely abandoning the plan. Ooh, wait. Ooh. Did they all independently find the gold? Is that why nobody wants to sleep? I'm getting a bit of a vibe check from them that they might have all independently found the gold. My ass is not sleeping. Tragically missing this one too since I'm going to locals. Oh, enjoy your locals. Yep, VOD will be on YouTube. And I doubt we're finishing the game tonight. I think the next stream will probably be where we finish this one. Because it'll be on Saturday, so I can do a long one. Hey, Mike, how's it going? What did you miss already? Nothing. Basically, nobody wants to sleep and let the other people take the next watch for the night. Ava, are you okay? You look a little pale. Come to think of it, you're right. Could it be a bit of a fever? Hideyoshi put his hand up against Ava's forehead. It seemed that Ava wasn't feeling her best. That goes without saying. That's what happens. That's what happens. You break your sleep cycle when you break your sleep cycle at your age. Typo spotted. Pepe la. Voila. What's up, Evan? Is it a cold? Natsuhi. Should you call Dr. Nanjo down? Yes. I'm fine. No need to make such a fuss over it. I have some medicine, so I'll be okay. I tend to get fevers when I'm tired. Don't worry. Hey-san, take it easy, okay? Thank you. If the siblings gathered without me around, I get the feeling everyone would start talking behind my back. Oh, was that the end of the young Ava scene? Everyone just clapping? Pretty much, yeah. It's a persecution complex from long ago. Sorry, okay. Well, I won't say anything. As if I'd say bad things about you behind your back, Nason. Kek. What is it? Nason, you've been acting strange for a while. Okay, hold on. There's definitely 2 roses, dude. There's gotta be 2 roses. This is the damn prestige. There's gotta be 2 roses. Like, Rosa, what Rosa would gain nothing from trying to egg Ava on into talking about finding the gold. Now, I know she wants Ava to immediately admit that she found the gold, but she wouldn't go about it this way. So I feel like this Rosa is genuinely confused as to why Ava's acting so weird. But the Rosa we saw in the cave would know why Ava was acting so weird. I think there are 2 Rosas, and one of them is Beatrice. The middle Beatrice, Beto. Shouldn't you get a little rest now? You're right. Just thinking about raising money by March makes my headache hurt even more. Hello, Welding. What are we doing? We are playing Umineko and trying to get better at fighting games. That isn't good. Rest. And I'll hold back too, so that your headache doesn't get worse. I've had a bad headache myself for a while now. Thank you. Well then, I'll take those words to heart and rest for a while. What is it, Ava? Why so angry all of a sudden? Sorry. Please let us rest just a little bit longer. Sorry. After apologizing several times as though praying, Hideyoshi followed Ava out of the lobby. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the challengers. Appreciate having you here. Bong. I don't like this atmosphere. It's also strained. That's no surprise. There was a murder early this morning. And since then, we've been eating canned food and carrying guns around. It's natural that we'd start to build up stress. I wonder if the kids up there are all building up stress too. I'm worried about Maria. She tends to throw tantrums at times like this. At that moment, they heard the sound of wild footsteps coming from the 2nd floor. The guest house wasn't a cheap building, so they wouldn't normally have heard the sound of footsteps. It was like the sound of someone stamping their feet in frustration. And an instant later, accompanied by what seemed to be the sound of her running into the 2nd floor hallway, they could hear Maria calling, "Ooh," over and over again, sounding displeased. I love these sounds. Yeah, I want to add some more of them. I want to add the like slow reverb fart. I think that one would go crazy. I maybe want to even add like text-to-speech with points at some point. I just haven't had the time to go do it. Rosa grabbed her head, her hair flying, and she voicelessly moaned in anguish. The adults conscientiously turned their backs to her, pretending not to notice. The noisy clamor came down from the 2nd floor and flew into the lobby. It was Maria who was sobbing along with the other children, and Nanjo. In other words, they had all come downstairs because of Maria's tantrum. Rosa couldn't hide her dizziness at this new annoyance her daughter was bringing to everybody. Sorry, Aunt Rosa. We tried to calm her, but she just wouldn't listen. Ooh. Okay, I'm gonna do one more. I won't tell you when. Okay. What is it, Maria? Could you be a little more quiet? Everyone's watching. It's that rose of hers from the rose garden. She suddenly started saying that she was worried about it. I think she's half asleep. She suddenly woke up and started going on about how she was worried about that rose. Maria, calm down. That was just a dream. George? George, why you acting sus now? That rose belonged to Beatrice and me. That didn't take long. So if I don't take care of it, Beatrice is gonna get mad. It might get snapped off again. I think the timelines are melding. Oh, here we go. I'm telling you to quiet down a bit, okay? The sudden rise in the tone of Rose's voice surprised the children, but Maria's crying just grew louder, and her tantrum just grew fiercer. Rosa, you mustn't scold a child so unsparingly. At times like this, it's best to give them some warm milk or something. Is there any here? The milk we just had for breakfast is empty now. Doesn't anyone have a sedative to use on kids? Based. You know, those silver pills. I have some. Whoa. He has them? Without hiding her displeasure, Rosa grabbed the handbag that she had set on the sofa and fished around for some medicine. It seems she had brought some child-use sedatives for Maria's tantrums. She found it and opened the bottle, but it must have been empty. Irritated, Rosa shook the bottle several times, but that didn't change the fact that nothing was in there. As she did that, Maria's crying grew even more intense. At that time, Eva was lying on her bed, covered by the bedding. Hideyoshi returned from the washroom, folding a handkerchief soaked in water. Whoa, this is one nasty fever. I'll bet it's the poisonous air that the family confidant has that's got you. For now, you can forget all about the other relatives, okay? As Hideyoshi spoke to her kindly, he set the soaked handkerchief on Eva's burning forehead. Eva rested her own hand on top of his. Your hand feels nice and cool. If my hand feels nice, your fever must be pretty bad. Don't worry, the medicine will start working soon. Hideyoshi is like S tier. S tier husband. Wife guy, Gladge. Don't worry, the medicine will start working soon. Plus, my hand is a magic hand. I put it against your forehead like this, and any fever will melt right away. You're right. Your hand always makes my fevers fade. Yep. No need for a doctor when you've got my hand. Don't worry and close your eyes. My magic will make that fever fade away. Yes, I know. I can feel your magic. Hideyoshi was about to say it was just a placebo effect, but he stopped. If Eva said she could feel magic coming from his hand, then that was fine for now. Magic? Magic? Pausers? I wonder if magic really exists. Yeah, it does. Oh. Only those who believe can tell, though. Is he Disney pilled or is he a witch? There's actually a lot of magic like that out there in the world. If magic actually exists, then I wonder if witches actually exist too. Oh? Perhaps he is full of whimsy? You mean the Witch of the Forest, Beatrice? She probably does exist for those who believe, just like the gods. They don't show themselves except in front of those with strong faith. I did it too, you know. Long ago. I was able to use magic. Oh? Really? Then you were a witch too. I had dreams that I wanted to come true no matter what. No, don't burn the witches, Welding. Don't burn the witches. After wishing strongly and trying hard, they always came true without fail. With my magic, my grades were always the best. And I even became the student council president, and worked hard to get into the university I wanted. Everything I wished for was granted. That's right. Your magic was always a thing to be reckoned with. You're definitely a witch. And you work harder than anyone. I know all about it. I hope these two aren't the close ones that die. When I was a kid the whole time, there was another me inside of myself who always supported me. Okay. I think this is canon. I think there's something to do with this where I think these inner beings exist for like everyone. And magic is just being able to like use their abilities or their help. And that other self was a witch. I didn't believe in Beatrice, the Witch of the Forest. I always believed that if Witch of Rokkenjima did exist, it was the witch inside my heart. I was so grateful to the witch inside myself. I was always grateful that she brought me to you. You get too timid when you're sick. Don't say anything for now. I'll stay like this the whole time, until your fever's gone down. Yeah, don't take your hand away. No matter what, somehow, if I feel like I'm becoming something that isn't myself, and I've been scared for somehow I feel like I'm becoming something that isn't myself, and I've been scared for a while now. I get the feeling that the witch inside me was provoked by Beatrice, and is growing stronger and stronger. Is this a murder mystery game? Yeah, basically. It's a visual novel about a murder mystery, and it's not really a game, it's just a reading experience. Somehow, it feels like she's gonna swallow me whole. The game part is just kind of theorizing and chatting and all that. It's okay. As long as I'm with you, there's nothing to be afraid of. Remember the time we went to the dangerous country and the whole bus got robbed? I drove them off. Didn't you just hand over your gold watch and beg them to go away? Godlike. It was pretty lame, but it was cool. Don't move your hand away, no matter what. Not even if I fall asleep. And if something creepy sneaks in here, protect me. Yep. Leave it to me. That's why I'm telling you to stop worrying and get to sleep. Because the medicine and my magic will start working real soon. Ava finally calmed her heart and closed her eyes. Okay, pause. Did someone drug Ava? Did Ava get drugged by Rosa? Because Rosa was all out of sedatives. No, Hideyoshi is a pure-hearted, lawful good fellow. But yeah, I wonder if Ava got drugged. Kind of like Knives Out in the way that Yu-Gi-Oh is like Kamigawa standard. That's an incredible comparison. Both are a Japanese card game. And in this one, both are a family murder mystery. At that time, there was the sound of a door being opened violently from the direction of the lobby. It seemed that Maria was having a tantrum, and screams of "Uwu" could be heard, along with Rosa's rebuking yells. Thank you, I think I cooked with that one? Yeah. That'll probably hurt Ava's ears. Or maybe it was giving her a headache. Ava moaned as though in pain and buried herself in the covers. It was easy to guess what was happening. Maria probably had a tantrum for some reason, gone down to the lobby, and started arguing with Rosa, who then scolded her daughter. And then, maybe that got too embarrassing to be shown in front of the other relatives, so Rosa had taken Maria out into the corridor. Hideyoshi had no desire to butt in on Rosa and Maria's problem, but just for now, since Ava's condition was so bad, he wanted to take them to take their ruckus somewhere else. Uwu? More like uwu? Yeah, that's kind of how it sounds. Wait just a sec. I'll ask them to keep it down. Come back quickly. Don't worry, I won't leave this room. Knock knock, get shot. Hideyoshi removed the chain, opened the door, and stuck his face out into the corridor. He immediately met Rosa's gaze. Everything okay, Rosa? I'm sorry. Did all this noise wake you? Yeah, stop. Here comes the stop with the ooze. Maria-chan. Sorry. Aunt Ava isn't feeling well and she's trying to sleep. Could you quiet down a bit? Oh, I wonder if Maria's upset because the title of Beatrice got passed on to young Ava. And either not to her, or just the Beatrice that she knew is no longer the Golden Witch. I bet that's why she's so upset. I will say also, Welding, if you're not familiar with this game, it is a slow burn. Stuff happens, but like once every like hour, maybe. Maria's tone did not change after Hideyoshi's request. She kept crying ooh and repeating, "My rose, my rose." Rosa slapped Maria's cheek, lifted her up while covering her mouth, and dragged her toward the entrance, trying to at least put some distance between her and Hideyoshi's room. She would still probably be noisy for a while, but he had warned Rosa for the time being. Relying on Rosa's actions as a mother, Hideyoshi closed the door. Is Maria having a tantrum again? Looks like it. It's tough for Rosa, too. Come to think of it, our George is almost too good to be true. We should be grateful. You're right. Hand? Oh, sorry. Look, it's the magic hand. Creepy. He put his hand on Ava's forehead again. Why am I sleeping? I'm convinced the rose is where the gold was. Ooh, that makes a lot of sense, actually. The rose is where the gold is makes a lot of sense. He put his hand on Ava's forehead again. Maybe there was really magical power in that hand. A truly peaceful look rose to Ava's face, and bit by bit she began to drift off into the land of sleep. As he had promised, Hideyoshi kept his hand on her forehead. Yeah, maybe Maria has found the gold, too. Maybe that's where all the stuff happened. Maybe that's where the letter got handed off. I mean, there's a lot to this passage. By the entrance with her hand still against Maria's mouth, Rosa was at a loss of what to do next. She hadn't been able to withstand everyone's gazes in the lobby, and had yelled at the children to go upstairs, dashing out of the lobby. She then had gone out into the corridor, only to have Hideyoshi say that she was too noisy. Where should she go now? Where should I take this child who's having a tantrum? Oh, she's going to take her to the gold. She felt as though tears of frustration were about to come out. As Maria kept struggling in an attempt to scream, Rosa put her mouth up to Maria's ear and tried to persuade Maria in a properly calm voice. Maria, do you really want to see the rose that much? Maria nodded her head several times. Why do you want to see it so much? I'll listen as your mother. So will you tell me quietly? I'll hit you if you scream. My rose. Beatrice revived it. It might have snapped off again. I'm worried about that. I can't sleep until I'm sure. Apparently she was still upset about that marked rose from yesterday. Rosa felt her headache throbbing again, but she was at least a little relieved that Maria had now stopped her screaming. Anyway, everyone is having a hard time right now, so don't bother Mama and everyone else. You can worry about that rose all you want tomorrow, when it stops raining. So for now, listen to me. No. It's my Beatrice's rose. Ugh. Rosa reflexively covered Maria's mouth. She had spoken a little too harshly and gotten her agitated again. Rosa realized that it was partly her own fault and clicked her tongue in self-hatred. But Maria thought this was directed at her, and her crying grew even fiercer. My Beatrice. Yeah, I interpret that one as, like, my Beatrice's rose is like, my rose that Beatrice and I had. Please, just be quiet. What can I do to make you stop crying? What should I do to make you listen to what your mama says? Suddenly, Maria stopped crying so fast that it seemed unnatural. Then she turned around and muttered, if I get to see my rose, I'll stay quiet until tomorrow. Really? Yeah. If we go to the rose garden and see my rose, I'll calm down. Girl, you're already calm. I mean it, Mama. Keep Maria quiet for the time being. Rosa thought that even going into this wind and rain would be a small price to pay. She thought it might be a bit reckless. But in the end, no murder or anything of the sort had actually occurred. All of the clamor since this morning had been a farce set up by Kinzo. If you care... Good evening. Hello. If you carefully thought about the chain of closed rooms, it clearly all had to be an act. Will you really listen if we get to go see the rose? Yes. I mean it, Mama. Okay, this seems like a murder time. It might be. Ouch. Rosa didn't overlook that creepy laugh and lightly hit Maria with her fist. And she shrugged as though giving up. Understood. If it's just one look, then I'll agree. Will that work? Yes, Mama. I promise. Oh man, Monka W. Once again, Rose tested the weight of her gun. It'll be okay. It's only an act. There was never a murderer on this island in the first place. Oh, banger. Damn it, wait, Aunt Rosa. Are Aunt Rosa and Maria the sacrifices for the second Twilight? Damn it, no. Someone notice them. Tell them to stop. Wait, are those guys in the... What are those guys in the living room and the kids doing? Indeed. They are being considerate of Rosa's pitiful relationship with her daughter, and are forcibly changing the subject. The group that includes you went up to the second floor, and is talking about something else while watching television. You bastards. Someone noticed them. Who's the closest? Is it Hideyoshi? Please notice that these two are leaving through the front door. It won't reach. Do not disturb their precious time together. Yeah, if you are interested in seeing what happens in this story, we are approximately 40 hours in at this point. Of some total, like, 150 to 200 hours, I think. Nah, probably more like 40 hours of about 120. Yeah, Yeah, so if you want, it's all on my YouTube. You can go to the live tab on my YouTube and watch from the beginning. This is the 17th session of this game. Hey, I'll deal with it. Based. Hideyoshi kept talking kindly, his hand on Ava's forehead. He didn't notice at all that Rosa and Maria were going outside through the front door. In that case, there was no way the others in the lobby, which was even further away, would notice. Much less those in the cousin's room on the second floor. Why are you so panicked? Didn't you defeat me with that bold move, saying the culprit died in an accident on the first Twilight? Doesn't that mean there's no longer a culprit on this island? What's there to be so worried about? Ooh, good move. Shut up. I can see right through you. Someone stop them. Those two will be killed. Yelling. Anyone have enough points to scare him with his own sounds? I don't get scared by those sounds anymore. At least I don't think I do. There was no way that Battler's voiceless scream would reach Rosa or Maria. The two of them could be seen in the rose garden. The rain was still awful, but fortunately the wind had died down a little. No, maybe that wasn't fortunate. Because maybe, if the wind had been a little fiercer, Rosa might have hesitated to go outside. Ooh. Here it is. Maria found a rose with a gold lace and stared at it lovingly. Rosa had accepted the promise under the condition that Maria would only get one look at it, but she didn't want Maria to complain that it hadn't been long enough later on. So she decided to go along with Maria until she was satisfied. She believed that there wasn't a culprit. But on the off chance that she was mistaken, they were now in an extremely dangerous position. Rosa realized that faintly herself. I just realized Beto's a streamer and Battler is her chat monster. I like that. I like that theory. If things got bad, she would throw away her umbrella and ready her gun. After glancing at Maria's innocent happiness, Rosa gazed wearily in all directions. Monka? Question mark, question mark? Were her eyes just tired? Even though no one should have been there, she thought she saw something glitter in the dark rose garden. Gold-colored. It had to be her imagination. Because, to Rosa, it seemed as though gold butterflies were dancing through the rose bushes. Have I shared with y'all, there's a YouTube video of a guy who, like, he reviews literature. And he reviews, like, classic, like, powerful literature. He reviews, like, Dante's Inferno and, like, Moby Dick and, like, just big, like, impactful, like, cultural icons of books. And then on his channel is also an Umineko review. And he said, like, Umineko changed my life. It's, like, literally the only, like, well, I guess it is classic fiction at this point, but it's the only, like, like, written on paper by human person. I think so on Twitter. Yeah, I might have retweeted it. I'll see if I can find it at the end of the stream, maybe. But yeah, basically, it's like, he's like, review Dante's Inferno, review, the Odyssey and the Iliad. Review Umineko. Umineko when they cry. Are you okay, Eva? Just take it easy. Should I call the doctor? I'm fine. Don't take your hand away. I'm begging you, don't take your hand away. Okay, this is interesting. She knows something. I think these two are actually going to be the two that die. And I think something about their hands being joined is going to create the puzzle, the closed room situation for Beatrice. Whoa, my VTube studio is really lagging. I recommended it. It's like an English professor's only review for the classics and then One Piece. That's so good. Why am I lagging? Said the farmer to the dog. Because I have this trying to open, probably. Beatrice. A sorceress. Uh-oh. Hello. Hello, VTube Studio. Good. Question: who's faster, Superman or the Flash? Superman clears everyone in every category every time. I'm fine. Don't take your hand away. I'm begging you. Don't take your hand away. So I think actually, yeah, these two might be killed, and the closed room puzzle might have to do with their hands being conjoined. Ava was breathing wildly. Beads of sweat were appearing on her forehead. It certainly was true that she had stayed up all night last night, and that things had been rough since early this morning. But it's the Flash? Yeah, but it's Superman. It wasn't odd that her body wasn't keeping up, even though he understood that. Hideyoshi suspected that this sudden fever was the sign of some serious illness. Several times, Hideyoshi decided to call for Dr. Nanjo, but Ava resisted firmly. Pleading with him and saying that it was even more important that he didn't take his hand away. I understand. But you've got to have Dr. Nanjo look at you by lunchtime. If you can promise me that, I'll stay here the whole time, gripping your hand. Tightly, like this. Because Superman also pulls from the Speed Force just like every other living thing in the universe. Yeah, I mean, I always just say Superman clears everyone in every category. Even like, yeah, he's smarter than Batman. Like, he's just, you know, he just clears. It's Superman. Interesting. Even though Flash can go back in time with close to zero flaws, it can also outrun death itself. Yeah, Superman can do that too. If Flash is faster than... Damn, Mango's got the bangers tonight. How come Superman forward 2-2, Ice Breath is +2? Thank you. I'm fine. The magic of your hand will definitely take this fever away. Even as she said that, Ava's harsh breathing didn't improve in the slightest. Superman has also turned back time, I'm pretty sure. By, like, flying around the world. Let's just agree to disagree? Okay, it's not that serious. Don't let go. Don't let go. Also, why would you ask a question that you already knew the answer to? Whoa. What's happening to Ava? Oh, could this have to do with the witchening of her inner Ava? We saw an umbrella moving from beyond the rose bush. Rosa threw away her umbrella and wildly lifted the gun. When she did, the shadow of a person beyond the bush showed itself. Ava became a what now? Oh, did you not see the last episode? Everyone, also Suzu, everyone has a gun in this episode. Because they found a bunch of guns. And then, is she pregnant? I thought the same thing, Mike. That did sound like pregnancy, like contraction yells. Ava. Is he making a garden canopy for your mom? Oh, that's cool. Yeah, in the last episode, the inner Ava, the one that we saw from the beginning of this episode, was like found the gold and became a witch. You scared me. Is it you, Nason? Just want your opinion. A lot of people think differently based on the media they've seen. Yeah, it makes sense. I find power scaling conversations interesting, but there's also there's never a right answer because nothing is ever, especially in comic books, because nothing is ever canon. George's little brother's coming. Pause. You scared me. Is that you, Nason? Do you have some business with me? Do you want to continue our earlier discussion? Whoa. Oh, shoot. There's two Avas now. There's two Avas. That's right. Our discussion about Father's Gold. Oh, is this one of the stakes? That would make a lot of sense. Please restrain yourself in front of Maria. I will keep my promise, okay? I won't get in the way of our conspiracy. Yes, that makes a lot of sense. Anytime, I've been saying there's two Rosas. But yeah, if the stakes can disguise themselves as members of the Ushiromiya family, I mean, that ties a lot of stuff up. Conspiracy? What's that? Whatever you're thinking, that's up to you. I have no desire to get in the way, so please, not in front of Maria. As long as I get my share, that will be enough. Your share? Ava started laughing in a creepy voice. Rosa was startled, but Maria stared blankly. Then Maria said, yeah, it sounds like one of the steaks. What is a steak and are they tasty? The steaks are the servants of Beatrice. They're her killing tools. Then Maria said just one thing. The second twilight is complete. Oh, nope. Auntie, who are you? Your share? Who would give that to you? All of it is mine. Oh, it's greed. It all belongs to me, the Golden Witch, Beatrice. Wait. So is that must be young Ava then, yeah. Oh, is she taking over? Is this gonna kill Ava? Like real Ava, and she's gonna take over? Is that how there's never more than 18 people on the island at any given time? When one like dies, one yeah, so like when one dies, one gets formed. Not always, but like one dies, one gets formed. So someone dying on the island does not reduce the total number of people on the island. Instead, it just swaps for another one, and in this case, like a clone. Ava, are you okay, Ava? Ava. Hold on, don't let go. Don't let me be dragged away by someone who isn't me. Wait, Ava knows what's happening. Hold on to my hand. Don't let go. Wait, this is peak. Oh. When did you ever work hard? You never worked hard for anything. You're always hiding in your shadows. You always escape from shadow to shadow without fighting. And yet, you really think yourself qualified to make demands of me over the Ushiramiya family gold? All of that is mine. It's all mine alone, as the head of the Ushiramiya family and the new Golden Witch, successor to the name of Beatrice. So adult Ava is watching all of this with no control? Probably, yeah. Young Ava is the manifestation of Ava's goals and spite from her youth. Yes, that's a good explanation of that. And I think there are more of these. I bet there's a young Rosa. I bet that Beatrice herself is maybe a young version of someone else, or vice versa. Maybe Maria is young Beatrice. Oh, did it not play the WoW sound? Sorry, some of these don't work all the time. I bet Maria is a young version of someone else. Yeah, I think so too. And then when we say young, they don't necessarily have to be younger. It's just kind of an older version of them. Yeah, this game, it's so good. It's just peak. Beatrice. It's Beatrice. Mama, look, Beatrice. Maria jumped at her mother in ecstasy. Rosa treated Maria cold-heartedly and raised her gun high. Hey, you're Nason, right? You are Nason, aren't you? Wrong. I'm no longer the one who was your sister. Oh god, my head. Then who are you? Are you trying to say that you're Beatrice? That's impossible. You died 19 years ago. Oh, dude, the Beatrice farm theory is just completely out the door now. Yes, you were definitely dead. After all, I clearly saw how your head was split open. I can remember the insides flowing out like it was yesterday. How can you be alive here right now? The concept of death does not exist to a Golden Witch. The Golden Witch in the name of Beatrice will be handed down for all eternity. Maybe the Beatrice you knew met with death, but that name is mine now, and therefore, it's eternal. The concept of death does not exist for Beatrice. All I can see is that gold has driven you mad. How pitiful, Nason. Come on, you know I'm not your sister anymore. Well then, as the new Beatrice, I have been tasked with my own resurrection ceremony. Renove, what should I do? Oh, the god? That's up to you. You already have the power to make whatever you think a reality. You should grow used to it once you've tried it out a little. You worthless former sister. You should consider it an honor to have been selected as the first sacrifice I offer as a witch. On the second twilight, I'll tear the two who are close apart with my own hands. Oh. Listen to this track hit. Oh my god. The first thing the new Beatrice wished for, no, the first magic she tried to use, was to surpass the limitations given to humans. In particular, gravity. She wanted to become fully aware of her transformation into a witch by being released from those shackles. As the witch and Rosa stayed as they were, the ground retreated all by itself into the distance below them. Oh, she's doing... she's doing the Superman super. Two-frame, full-screen super, grab Rosa, fly into the atmosphere, slam down. By now, their feet were no longer attached to the ground. Not like this. Not the two-frame super. Rosa finally realized that the Earth wasn't retreating into the distance below them, but that she and the witch were being sucked up into the rainy sky. Huh? Ah! Whoa, awesome. For a human shackled to the ground by gravity, there is nothing more unnerving than having their feet stop sticking to the ground. However, to Beatrice, who in becoming the new witch had learned the joy of being released from gravity, it was enough to make her whole body shake with delight. Hey Rosa, do you remember long ago when we were small? We used to talk about what it'd be like if we became witches and flew around in the sky? That dream has been granted, hasn't it? I became a real witch and granted it for you. She might kill adult Ava and Rosa? Those would be two that were close as well. Stop it. If this is a dream, then wake me up. You said it yourself. You said you flew through the sky in your dream. And you also said you didn't want to wake up. You even got mad at me when I woke you up, right? Don't worry. This time, you won't wake up, okay? Come dance with me in the vast rainy sky. Didn't we both wish we could fly like seagulls in the sky and escape the cramped and boring island of Rokkenshima? Now, I'll make that dream a reality for you. I only want to share this joy with you and with no one else. It's so fun, Rosa. It's so fun. Take a look below you. Look at how small our mansion is. I wonder how much time we spent in a place that small. Now I'm especially shocked at how cramped and tiny it is. So feel, enjoy, rejoice. That power we yearn for, the power to move through the sky at will. Come on, let's dance, Rosa. Through the rain, through the wind. Let's fly around like we're dancing. The lightning will shine on us and bless us. The witch and Rosa were like leaves fluttering around in a whirlwind. As the rain pounded upon every part of their bodies, as the light occasionally shone upon them, they shook with the joy of being released from the ground. However, it was only that way for the witch. Rosa was holding onto her head, voicelessly screaming over and over. Stop it! Forgive me, let me down. Oh, don't say that. You're right, it's more fitting for humans to crawl on the ground. Don't you know, young Ava loved The Dark Knight, starring Christian Bale and Heath Ledger. Don't say, let me go. Now, why not go back there? A slightly displeased expression rose to the witch's face when she realized that her own joy was not being shared. Then she decided to listen to her former sister's request. Oh man. The whirlwind that had been making Rosa dance around grew weaker, then stopped. In other words, Rosa was once again bound by the restrictions of gravity, as a human. Following the laws that were originally correct, Rosa began to descend toward the ground, upside down. No, she began to fall. Oops. That's right. If I don't take her down the right way, this is what happens. The witch hadn't intended to send Rosa plummeting, but she still wasn't used to using magic. Edge. After plummeting about 100 meters into a rose bush, as a very, very natural result, Rosa died instantly. But the witch hadn't intended to kill her, so she wished that Rosa hadn't died. Well, now you have to kill someone that was close to Rosa. You have to kill Maria? When she did, gold butterflies coiled about Rosa's body, reviving that life just... Oh! Rosa's body, which should have been spread out like a carpet of fresh blood, rapidly returned to normal. The broken and crushed bones returned to normal. The torn and smashed flesh returned to normal. How easy it is to break things in this world, and how difficult it is to fix them. Anyone can take a life, but no human can revive a lost life. By surpassing the irreversible, one proves that they have surpassed humanity. This surely gave her a much, much greater realization of her position as a witch than flying through the sky had. Awesome. I can even revive an ended life. Of course. Beatrice is the endless witch. To live and to die. To bring life and to kill. All of it repeated, endlessly. Beatrice, the endless witch, is the queen who controls the cycle of life and death. Oh! One time, I knocked over a fishbowl. The fragile and beautiful bowl broke, and I couldn't put it back together again. I'd never see that cute pop-eyed goldfish swimming again after it landed on the floor. No matter how much I cried, the servants shook their heads, saying that broken things and dead things could never be revived. That's when I learned something. You must not break things. You must not kill people. After all, you can't fix them. I can fix them. So if you can fix them, then you won't get in trouble for breaking them, right? Awesome, 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 awesome. For a while, the witch became intoxicated with how terrible and wonderful the power she had inherited was. Her laugh was pure, innocent, and cruel. Ugh. Even though Rosa had been revived, she let out a cry of anguish at the pain from her fall. At that point, the witch landed and held out her hand. Oh my gosh. Sorry about that, Rosa. I didn't think flying in the sky would be so much fun. Sorry. I'm real sorry. And I don't know how humans could die so easily, but I brought you back to life, so we're even. So get up, okay? Play with me some more, okay? What were those dreams you told me about when you were a kid? Go ahead and tell me all of them without holding back. As I am now, I can make anything come true, no matter how absurd. Even drowning you in a sea of jelly, even having you get sucked into a mountain of cake. I can even make you sprout butterfly wings and flit around the garden. I'll do them one after the other. Let's start with the ocean of jelly, all right? Stop. Oh my gosh. Rosa was once again thrown high into the rainy sky. However, the sky wasn't filled with raindrops, but with drops of orange juice. When she looked down, Rosa had to doubt her eyes. The rose garden had disappeared, and the ground spread out beneath her like a pastel-colored jigsaw puzzle. It was an ocean of jelly, like the one she had spoken of from her dreams when she was young. The black part was coffee jelly. The red was strawberry. The yellow was pineapple. And the green was melon. What was the white part? Apple? Did Rosa even have the time to think stuff like that? Rosa fell toward the multicolored ocean. This is kind of crazy. And she sunk deep into the purple grape-flavored sea. It really was an ocean of jelly. It had no bottom. As Rosa sank, she was shocked to see a school of transparent fish swimming through the grape jelly ocean. They were probably made of grape skin. She sunk on, deeper and deeper and deeper, as the Marianas Trench, crushed by the water pressure of the jelly ocean, as her ribs snapped and her spine snapped. In the end, she became a small, frail meatball. Yeah, what's Maria doing in all this? Is she just like... Is she just loving this? Yeah, like... What a true wonderful experience to drown in an ocean of jelly. I knew a sailor. I knew a sailor who drowned. He said it was like going home to jelly. It's a dream no one else can imitate. I made it come true for you. The instant I snapped my fingers, the meatball that had been Rosa was launched up into the sky. And after being wrapped up in a golden sparkle, she returned to her original form. It was as simple as easy as returning dried seaweed to its original form. Anyone could do it, if they were a witch. That absent-minded look on Rosa's face had to be the joy from having that dream she gave up on as a child come true. Definitely. Probably. Next is the mountain of cake. You remember the story about the sailor who drowned? Yeah, he said it was like going home. I lied. He said it was agony. He said it tasted like grape and pain. Next is the mountain of cake. In an instant, the sky was covered and became black and white in the shape of a chessboard. That almost transparent white part was her favorite rare cheesecake. The elegant black part was a slightly better gâteau à chocolat. That became the ceiling, became a mountain, and several billion cakes were thrown down toward Rosa. That's as much as 10, 100 millions. And that's terrible. If you piled those cakes up, they would surely be taller than Mount Everest. So they probably weighed... I'm not too sure, but I'll bet it was heavier than all the cakes across Japan put together. Fell down like a ceiling and swallowed Rosa up, so as a very, very natural result. That meme is so old, Indiana Jones is looking for it. As a very, very natural result, Rosa was crushed to death. In less than a second, her bones broke throughout her body and her insides were all smashed and forced out. Squish, pop, slop. Even so, an even greater number of cakes piled up on top, and Rosa ended up as a layer of jam wedged between them. She became as thin as a single hair. It was probably spread out over the area of a tennis court. The world swallowed up by cake was once again absorbed by a gold flash. So there's definitely something to this. You can't just do all this magic willy-nilly, right? There's got to be a cost. Even though it had been a dream, Rosa was revived once again. Of course, it definitely wasn't a dream. She had been revived after dying. By that point, death, which most humans only have to experience once after they are born, had already been experienced repeatedly by Rosa. In other words, she had gone through that which humans cannot, the precious experience of dying more than once. I have a feeling this young Ava is gonna like burn herself out. Next is the butterflies. Look. Please, have mercy. No way. Let's play more. Laughing innocently, she pointed her gold staff at Rosa, who begged for mercy. When she did, Rosa glittered gold and repeatedly began to shrink. This is the power of the gold of an endless witch? Perhaps. She shrank down to the size of a real butterfly. Then gold wings sprouted from her back, and she joined her fellow gold butterflies. However, while a human body could withstand that wind, it was a different matter for a butterfly's body. The gold butterfly Rosa was invited to dance by each gale of wind, and she spun in circles around the rose garden. As her dance wore her out, she was caught by a gentle bed. It was a soft knit hammock in the shadows beneath the roof of the arbor. The owner of that hammock lumbered into view, welcoming its rare guest who had wandered in on the night of a storm. That owner, which should have been small enough to crush in the palm of your hand, now looked as big as the top of a canopy bed to Rosa. Once you taste the power of magic, it's hard to become sane. That's probably true. She got squished. What a klutz. You got caught in a spider's web. This time, it's a dance with a spider. That takes me back. Remember the times we'd find spider webs and play around throwing pebbles at it? I've heard that spiders don't chew their prey. They insert their venom, and when their insides melt into a sticky soup, they suck them out. Hey, Rosa, remember? Remember how we'd throw butterflies into the spider's web on purpose? And play around by seeing how the spiders would attack? I guess you don't remember, do you? It happened before you got into grade school. Make sure you watch closely this time, okay? Very closely. Have mercy, Nason. Help me. Carl Clover impression. Jeez. Girl's not bad. She truly can use magic at will. Amusing, amusing. How truly amusing. You feel like laughing too, right, Battler? No, don't fuck with me. Stop it already. What's so fun? You're insane. You're just insane. What's so fun about doing something like this? Doesn't she look like she's having a blast? Oh, didn't Shannon kill one of the stakes with spider webs? Did Shannon kill one of the stakes with spider webs? I don't think so. Oh, maybe she did. I don't remember. Doesn't look like she's having a blast. What do you expect? Magic is fun. I remember when I first became able to use magic, I played around a lot. I understand that kind of game from the bottom of my heart. Looks like you won't be able to share this joy and passion with you, Battler. What a shame. If you accept me, I'll teach you magic anytime you want. See? She killed fake cannon with spiderweb? Oh, yeah, look at that. Little callback. It's like poetry. It rhymes. It's hard to describe the joy you receive the instant you're freed from the shackles of humanity. I want to teach you about it too, that joy and that passion. I'd definitely like to see the world of magic you'd give birth to. Just once. Isn't it starting to get fun? You've started wanting to use magic, haven't you? Pretty fun to be a witch. Just for you, I'll teach you everything. About the joy of flying together, about the joy of diving together through the sea. Who are Battler and that woman with him? Man. This is Beatrice, the original Golden Witch. She is currently in a game against Battler, who is one of the sons of the Ushiromiya family. So we saw Rosa and Ava. He would be their nephew. And basically they're trapped in a game with each other where Beatrice is trying to convince Battler that witches are real, and Battler is trying to stay resolute and prove that witches are not real. And so a lot of what's going on here is unclear, but it's kind of through the lens of Beatrice is presenting this to Battler. And Battler is supposed to debunk anything he's being shown. And see how wide your world stretches. Wouldn't that be fun? There was no malice in Beto's expression. It was hard to believe, but she was genuinely enjoying this cruel show, and she wanted to share that appreciation with Battler. Battler was shocked by the hopeless different sense of values. You're insane. Stop it already. Brigilia, make them stop this insane farce. What should I do? We exist outside the board. We cannot touch the board itself. Brigilia shook her head apologetically. Her body had already been killed. Does that mean she couldn't interfere? As Beatrice continued to look amused in an insane sort of way, Battler lifted her up by the collar and yelled at her. Stop it, stop it, stop it! Quit messing around, witch. Are you trying to tell me that's Aunt Ava? That's impossible. The Aunt Ava I know might be a bit mean at times, but it's completely impossible that she'd be the kind of person who would do something this cruel. That's all part of your deception. Don't toy with Aunt Rosa. Don't toy with Aunt Ava. Stop this farce right now. I told you, I'm not the one playing with Rosa anymore. Like I said, that's the new Beatrice. Is it really so terrible that you have to squeal like that? You're also pretty fond of stuff like this, aren't you? You actually have just a bit of interest in magic and... Ouch. What are you doing? For the first time, Battler slapped Beto's cheek. Beatrice didn't know why he had done something like that to her, and a surprised expression rose to her face. Battler especially couldn't forgive that expression, and he roared. You call this amusing? What's wrong with your head? Die. Go slice your head to bits and look inside. You'll see there's nothing there. Stop it right now. Stop this disgusting farce. I won't forgive you. How could you do something so cruel? I've sometimes thought you could be a bit funny, but I'll never make that mistake again. You're just a monster who's cruel on all levels. Does this Beatrice just not exist anymore in the current episode? Good question. I don't think she was on the island in this episode. You're just a monster who's cruel on all levels. Don't show yourself in front of me. Never again. I won't accept you. I won't talk with you. I don't even want to look at your face. Did you hear me? I mean, that should be Battler's defense and Battler's move here. If Ava was proclaimed the new Beatrice, how could this Beatrice retain her powers and keep doing anything? How could she possibly be a witch? If there's... Well, I guess... no. Don't say that, because then you fall into a bait. Because basically you're saying... Beto can't be a witch if the new Ava is a witch. But if the new Ava is a witch, well, then witches exist, don't they? That's the trap that Beto's trying to lay, huh? Don't show yourself in front of me and disappear. Whoa. Oh! Wait... The instant Battler screamed, the power that resisted the witch became a red wall and knocked Beto back onto her butt. Ow. What are you talking about? Isn't it an interesting show? She spoke defensively, but the target of those words, Battler, was no longer there. His figure had suddenly disappeared into the darkness. But Beatrice looked displeased and continued trying to explain herself. It's not as though it's completely blind to where you're coming from. But this is nothing more than an innocent... It's just a prank, bro! Fine. No matter how you kill them, they'll always be brought back to life in the end, right? I thought humans were all creatures who say all's well that ends well. Hey, teacher, there was no reason for him to get so angry, right? She really is content brained? Yeah. Is she going tsundere? She's always tsundere. The Beatrice is the same will, but different people in minds? Maybe. It's definitely a concept. Squidward pilled. He was hoping for approval, but Vergilia simply faced her with an indifferent expression. To Beto at the moment, even an exasperated look would probably have been better. I have nothing in particular to say. If you think this is fun, you can keep watching as long as you want. Call me when it's over. I will vanish until then. Bye. Following Battler's lead, Vergilia vanished into the darkness. Beto, who was now completely isolated and didn't have a clue what was going on, felt that they were making her out to be the bad guy. Sag. What's wrong? Isn't it an amusing show? It might be a little vulgar, but it's quite interesting, isn't it? Hey, Renov. It's nothing to get so mad about, right? Something interesting for you, milady, may not necessarily be interesting for Battler-sama. Does he really hate me that much? Well, certainly we are enemies and opposites in this competition, but is our relationship really so bad that we can't laugh together at this display? Since I applauded together with Battler, I thought I could at least laugh together with him. Does he really reject me so much that we can't even do that? He doesn't have to accept that I'm a witch. We're challenging each other in this game, after all. And yet, he won't look at my face. He won't talk to me. And he'll probably do all he can to ignore me. Am I really hated that much? She really did do this to herself. The moves you've made up to this point have been more than enough to earn his hatred. Yeah, all you did was spam command grabs, Beatrice. What do you expect? Even a demon such as myself can understand a bit of Battler-sama's feelings. Perhaps you cannot understand because you are especially thick-headed, milady. Shut up. Why don't you disappear too? Yeah, okay. If you would excuse me, bye. Even Renov hid himself in the darkness, and Beatrice was left alone. The only one in the rainy rose garden. No one ever plays with a lonely witch. And the fact that no one ever does is what makes them a lonely witch. She teabagged so hard she got countered? What's going on? Why won't anyone play with me? Am I really that weird? That group? Me playing Season 1 Happy Chaos? Am I really that weird? That cruel? Someone answer me. Isn't this fun, Rosa? Isn't this fun? How should we play next? Of course, we should play with Maria too, right? Okay. This is where Maria goes Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan and like blocks the attack. Me when I played my third Storm Slime in a row. Why is no one playing with me? Let's all have a friendly walk together. Let's swim in a pot of boiling chocolate. Let's have a picnic in a cake rising oven. Yeah, Maria's about to fight back. Hey, new Beatrice. Behind the witch that was continuing her mad banquet, Beto showed herself. That expression was very rare for her. It was somehow restrained, unreliable, miserable. Oh, it's the predecessor, Beatrice. Were you watching? The power of magic is truly wonderful. We gotta stop this girl. We need Beatrice. We need Maria. We need Ava. We need Natsuki with her gun. We need everybody to get out here and challenge this new Beatrice because she is out of pocket right now. Until now, I never thought it'd be so fun to be reborn as a witch. I like playtime it's like playtime that never ends. Come on, let's play together, Predecessor-sama. But first, wait a second, okay? Beto's gonna protect Maria, and then these two are gonna fight. But first, wait for a second. I cooked the two of them to death in an oven, so I have to revive them again. They're like bread rising from yeast. Like cookies expanding in an oven. Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. Well, isn't that enough for the sacrifice of the second Twilight? Of course, there are no rules regarding how you kill them, but, maybe you shouldn't toy with them any more than that? What are you saying, Predecessor Sama? I heard from Minovus a while ago. Wasn't your magic much, much more wonderful, cruel, and crazy? That Halloween party where candies poured out of the 6 people's stomach was truly wonderful. So maybe I'll act out Alice's tea party. I'll invite everyone to a tea party in celebration of a completely pointless day and entertain them one by one with my magic. I wonder if I can do it as wonderfully as you. I wonder if I can be cruel in my own pop cute style. Now that I think about it, all fairy tales are cruel, aren't they? Now that I'm a witch inside of one of those fairy tales, I finally understand. I have also, sometimes thought that in the past. I might have gone a little too far. Well, I think that as the Golden Witch, it's probably best to show a little elegance. Oh? I don't get what you're saying, Predecessor Sama. But there's one thing I do understand. No matter how hard I try now, I'm no match for how cruel you are. I gotta try much, much harder. I've got to become more cruel and become an excellent Golden Witch. Like I said, you've already done enough here. Anyway, this is an order from me as your predecessor. That's enough for the second Twilight. I'll show you how it's done. Stand back and watch. Yes, I can't wait to see what brutal, cruel, and disgusting method of killing you use. The new witch grasped the sides of her skirt and gave a graceful bow. Stepping back as an expectant gaze rose to her face. She was expecting an even more cruel magic that surpassed even herself. Well, speaking of that, you're only half a witch if you can only kill with methods like that. I shall show you an elegant way to kill, worthy of the Golden Witch. When Beato waved her pipe, 7 colors of smoke poured out, reviving Rosa and Maria. Compared to how the new Beatrice had done it a short while ago, it was slightly gentler. It was probably gentler than how Beato had done it herself up until now. Rosa's consciousness had already grown dim from the pain of so many repeated deaths, but even so, she pleaded that her daughter be spared. Please, have mercy. Even if it's just Maria, have mercy. Oh, Maria is freaking out. Sorry. My disciple just, acted without restraint for a bit. Forgive me. Beatrice! When Maria realized it was the real Beatrice, she jumped into her. You promise, right, Beto? You promise you'd take me to the Golden Land, right? There, I'll be friendly with Mama, and everyone will laugh together. You promise you'd take me there, right? About that. I can no longer keep that promise. Because someone appeared who could solve the riddle. I am no longer the Golden Witch Beatrice. So, sorry. I can no longer keep my promise with you. Why? You promised. I'm sorry. I'm truly sorry. So at least, an apology for not being able to keep my promise. I'll give you a quiet sleep that will never be disturbed again. Beato embraced Maria with a loving expression on her face. Ava has that privilege? Yeah, Ava is the Golden Witch now. Then softly, a red bruise appeared on Maria's neck. It was a very gentle bruise. That's how Genji killed the 2 servants earlier. Its redness grew bit by bit, and when it distinctly formed itself in the shape of a hand, Maria's neck tilted suddenly, peacefully, as though she had fallen asleep. Maria. Maria! Sorry. I won't apologize that you were the sacrifices for the second Twilight. That is simply your fate. However, I must apologize for the vulgar way in which you were offered as sacrifices. This is your final sleep. Never again will it be disturbed. Beato softly, gently lifted her finger as though touching the empty air in front of her nose. When she did, a light breeze lifted up, making Rosa's body dance lightly like a feather. Then Rosa's body floated softly, and right there was the garden fence with its spear-shaped prongs. Monk. Are you sure about that? Are you sure that Beato's so sweet? She just Ermac force slammed her onto some garden spikes. The spear of the her medulla oblongata. The spear of the fence pierced Rosa's medulla oblongata. Alligators! Alligators aren't mad because they got so many teeth and no toothbrush. They're mad because they're medulla oblongata. Benevolently, without toying with her, in a single blow, Rose's life was snapped out. Compared to the earlier innocent yet cruel events, it seemed to be over much too fast. Oblongata. The medulla oblongata. It looked just like a doll shaped like Rosa was leaning against the fence, but she had passed away. People don't understand her. Beatrice is such a general and forgiving person. Sag. Well, something like that should do the trick. Beato acted proud that the new witch wore a blank expression, almost as though this was an anticlimax. Then she said it out loud. It's kind of plain. Not at all like the predecessor Renov told me about. Well, you must use magic with dignity, right? Even if it's too, undignified that it isn't very elegant. This is interesting. So from this perspective, we're seeing Beto, like, honestly, like, mature a little bit through this process. Through this process of showing Battler how, you know, trying to win and play this game with Battler, she's becoming a lot more like Virgilia. And this Ava, this new Beatrice, is a lot like the brash original Beatrice that we knew from episode 1 and episode 2. Very interesting that Beatrice is kind of growing as a person. Even though you're lucky enough to have the magic to do wonderful things endlessly, how boring. Hey, don't complain. The path of the Golden Witch cannot be completed in a day. You are still incomplete until you finish the 10th Twilight. When being wrong about something gets you to realize something about yourself, guy with hands on head and eyes bugging. You're still incomplete until you finish the 10th Twilight. For now, stay quiet and follow my instructions. Got it? What happened to your answer? Your answer. Sure. Very well, that will do. Well, there's still much to do for the resurrection ceremony. You still have to kill 5 people. You should do it without toying with them too much. With beauty and with dignity. With at least a little restraint, okay? What Renov told you about how I did it, that was a bad example. You mustn't use that as a model. So she actually interacted with the story from the Tea Party, I guess? I guess, yeah. Like, she like jumped into the story, and, you know, Battler couldn't interfere with the story, but Beatrice can, and I mean, that makes enough sense. You know, it's her story, basically. Yes, predecessor. Good answer. Renov, the 7 stakes of purgatory, arise. Yes, my lady. I, Renov, am here. Lucifer, right here. Up until this point, I've been a little flashy, but, well, the dignity of the Golden Witch is also important, and about that. As Renov laughed at Beto's uncharacteristically flustered speech, he summed it up for her. Certainly. From now on, we will be careful to act in a graceful manner, suitable for the name of the Golden Witch. Even the 7 Sisters of Purgatory will reform their bad behavior up until now. We shall espouse, to perform our task in the quickest possible manner. Would that be acceptable? Indeed. That's it. Everyone, take it to heart, okay? Yes, certainly. That is all I wish to say. You may leave now. Certainly. If you would excuse me. Excuse us. So I think part of this is because she wants Battler to keep playing the game. And she realized that Battler just can't watch his family get slaughtered like that and set it aside because, you know, to her, death is so, like, trivial. But to Battler, it's so intense that, like, she didn't realize how out of hand she had gotten. Well, that is all I wanted to say. So take care as you move forward, understand? Act with dignity and, restraint, okay? Give it your all. I will be watching over you. Acting awkwardly until the very end, Beto left that message and immediately became a cloud of gold butterflies, hiding her form in the empty air. Maybe it'd be more accurate to say she vanished in a hurry because she couldn't keep up the conversation. After that, all that remained was Maria's corpse, lying down and pounded by the rain. Rose's corpse, propped up by the fence and staring up at the sky, and the figure of the witch. Show some restraint, you say? Her expression looked just a little bored. There was popping sound, not a pooping sound, a popping sound. That was probably her clicking her tongue. What a boring person. Leaving the last sentence behind, she once again vanished into the empty air. Second Twilight complete. What does all this mean, though? And then Rosa and Maria were the second Twilight. Looks like she's finally calmed down. Hideyoshi wiped his own forehead. For a time, Ava had seemed to be having a very painful nightmare, but appeared she had finally fallen asleep. As promised, he still gripped Ava's hand. He thought it might be time to let go pretty soon, but he faithfully continued to hold it. Rain sounds must be loud enough to cover up all that magic. Every once in a while, his hand would get tired, and he would switch between his right and his left. But even so, as he promised, he did not let go of her hand. At that time, there was a heavy knock. Ava had finally been able to fall asleep, so Hideyoshi grimaced for just an instant. Aniki, Hideyoshi, is Rosa there? It was Rudolph's voice. What could it be? Hideyoshi headed for the door, hiding his footsteps so that he wouldn't wake Ava. It was definitely Rudolph's voice, but just in case, he opened the door without removing the chain. What is it? Something happened to Rosa? We can't find Rosa or Maria. I thought they might be with you. I heard her scolding Maria in the corridor. They got quiet after that, so I thought they'd gone back to the lobby. Did they? Idiot. Rudolph clicked his tongue. Other people could be seen in the corridor. Rosa hadn't returned for a while after going out into the corridor, so they began to worry. I bet that man is going to die next. The Hideyoshi. That's her husband. Near the front door, Natsuki pointed out the unset chain. The chain isn't set. They must have gone outside to see the rose after all. How extraordinarily careless to go out and leave the door unlocked. What a troublesome person. I'm more worried about Rosa and Maria themselves. Right. Hey, brats. Where was this rose of Maria's? I'm pretty sure it was in the flower bed right in the middle of the rose garden. That's where they are. We should be able to spot them pretty quickly if we go. Dad, should we bring them back here as soon as we can? Of course. We'll bring them back and give them a good spanking. I'll dash out here and come back. Lock the door as soon as I go out. Dad, I'll go with you. Don't be stupid. It's obviously a brat's job to watch over the house with Mama. Yeah, I could see young Ava wanting to kill Hideyoshi because she thinks her older self is better than him. What is it? Did something happen? Sorry, did I wake you up? Wait, is that a different battler? So that's the battler in real life, not the battler at the tea party. The tea party is the meta-narrative happening that sets the stage of the game between Beatrice and Battler over the instances that happened on the island on those 2-3 days. The battler that's on the island is the real-life battler that's experiencing the story and is basically just a piece in the game. Seems Rosa took Maria outside. How reckless of her. Rosa and Maria are outside? In the rose garden? That's right. Oh, did you hear? Maria was causing a ruckus because she wanted to see this rose. They mustn't go to the rose garden. Oh, yeah, the gold is definitely in the rose garden. Tell Rosa to stop. There's no telling her to stop now. It looks like they left a while ago. Seriously, how reckless of them. That's not it. Not the rose garden. There's a witch there, and she's waiting for a sacrifice. Oh, Ava knows all of this. Rosa mustn't go. Ava cowered, again, holding her head. Her complexion looked very bad. Yeah, when you see that like border, it's like the meta narrative, the tea party. What is it? Did the fever make you dream something bad? It's a dream, yes. In the rose garden, the witch doing that to Rosa and Maria. Oh, so Ava saw. Wait, that's huge. So Ava was falling asleep and was like in agony. As Ava fell asleep, young Ava, I want to say, for lack of a better term, woke up and showed up. I bet the witch forms of any of, like, the characters we have here, including Beatrice, can only be around... can only be around when someone's sleeping. That's why people saw the witch Beatrice wandering the manor at night. Because whoever was the, call it, host body of Beatrice the Golden Witch was asleep at that time. What if Beatrice... Okay, this is a crackhead one, but what if Beatrice is Kinzo's witch? As in, Kinzo and Beatrice share a consciousness. So when Kinzo sleeps in the mansion, Beatrice roams the mansion. And in the day, he's the leader of the mansion, and at night, she is. That would be kind of interesting. But I think that would just be played for shock value. I don't think you could really logic that one out. But it would be a neat reveal. Beatrice is a granny. Beatrice is thousands of years old, allegedly. That's right. It's a dream. It must be. This is reminding you how Nazi had a headache in the first episode. You're so right. And Rosa has headaches all the time. I think Beatrice Orange Beto might be Rosa's witch. Hi, Doobie. Calm down. I'm here in this room, and the chain is set. The shutter's closed in the window, and we've even got a gun. This room is just like a fortnight. There's nothing to be afraid of. Hideyoshi beat his chest, trying to calm her, but Ava's insecure expression didn't change. So we have to keep an eye on anyone having headaches. Yeah, headaches are becoming a lot more relevant. Under the covers, Ava kept praying that the grotesque nightmare she had was only a dream. All three ladies have had those headaches. I got the third strike bug? Heck yeah. Alright, so now we're at the tea party. No one uses the gun. The gun is useless. Everyone knows that the gun is useless. In the center of the rose garden, Rudolph identified the corpses of Rosa and Maria. After that, he returned to the guest house, called for help, and carried both of them into the guest house. If we trust Nanjo's examination, the cause of Rosa's death was a stab to the medulla oblongata with the pointed gate of the fence. It's thought that Maria's death was due to strangulation with bare hands. Strangulation. So that red, like, it's like a choke.
Hello there.
Hello there. However, due to the devil's proof, we cannot discount any misdiagnosis. I will say it in red. Rosa and Maria died. The causes of death were as Nanjo diagnosed. She wasn't eaten by a spider, nor was she crushed by a mountain of cake. Don't worry. Oh, and for those just joining on this one, when something is said in red, it is factually true without any proof required, as per the rules of the game. So when said in red, you don't have to doubt it. What's more powerful about that is anything not said in red, it could be a lie. It's all fine because the corpse is neat and clean. I definitely won't forgive you. I definitely won't forget all of that brutal treatment you gave to Aunt Rosa, so I won't forgive you. Like I said, that wasn't me. Ah, look at that. Beatrice is like, this isn't fun anymore. It isn't the consequences of my action. I believe I gave them a much more peaceful death than the way she treated them. Shut the hell up. I'm not talking to you. It was stated that there are no more than 18 people on this island. And now that 8 people are already dead, we can narrow the field of suspects down to 10. One of them probably killed these 2. Or it could also be an accidental death. So this one is a very human way of them dying. They choked Maria and then jammed Rosa's head on the spike. Yeah, 8 already. The 5 servants died. And then Kinzo, and then Maria and Rosa. The 5 servants died in the first night. Or it could also have been an accidental death, like Maria was having a tantrum. And when Aunt Rosa tried to stop her crying, she misjudged how much power she was using and accidentally killed her. Then she was so upset that she slipped and fell, landed on the fence, and unluckily died. An actual explanation you could have here, and it's very sad, an actual explanation that could happen here is Rosa took Maria out to the Rose Garden because she was having a tantrum. Rosa, we know Rosa has anger issues, and Rosa, in an angry spree, accidentally killed Maria. Tried to shut her up. Maria would not stop crying. Tried to shut her up, and ended up just like suffocating her or choking her to death. Yeah, I remember the Maria tantrum. I remember how bad it was, and then Rosa just went off on her. So we know it was probably that when they couldn't find the rose. It did show them finding the rose. Though. But yeah, if we're talking about maybe some false information or some like hypotheticals here, they didn't find the rose and Maria freaked out. Rosa could have lost it. Accidentally killed Maria by applying too much force. They also showed Rosa being turned into a butterfly and being eaten by a spider. Yeah. Obviously, as I just mentioned, anything written in white can be doubted. So, yeah, maybe they don't find the rose. That's a really good reason that would cause Maria to freak out. Rosa's like, come on, we got to get back inside. Stop crying. Oh my God, stop yelling. Accidentally chokes her to death. And then is just so grief-stricken that she just says, she like climbs up onto something and just jumps and dies. Like, says, horrible mother, unfit to live, just dies. That way there's no need for a witch or magic. Well, that's not quite true. Actually, Rosa and Maria... Shut up. Didn't I say I wasn't talking to you? You're an eyesore, so disappear. You monster. Battler said that without rage, but with a horribly cold voice. The strange behavior was something Beto had noticed right off the bat. In a fight, both of them could go at each other without restraint. However, he wouldn't even step into the ring. You could feel that coldness. Beto didn't find that amusing. She thought about flaring up, but she held back. Maybe even though she was innocent and childish, she had enough sense to realize that she shouldn't pick fights. Is that so? Then I'll vanish. My question is, what's the golden object in the new witch's hand? It's a staff. Brunov, continue for me. Certainly. Will that be satisfactory, Battler? There are no problems with her proposal. If Battler doesn't want to see Beto's face, perhaps that will do. Do what you like. If I can live without seeing that monstrous face, I don't care about anything else. Yeah, Battler's just not even trying to play the game. Wait a second. You keep saying monster, but isn't that a cruel way to speak of me? Why do you instinctively hate me so much, Battler? Even though none of that was me. Even though it was all the work of my disciple. It's not like I'm only mad about what happened just now. It's been like this from the very beginning. Hey, Battler, don't misunderstand, okay? Aren't we just a pair of players confronting each other through a game? We look for moves to make things painful for each other, but don't get the wrong idea. I don't hate you because you're my rival in this game. I just can't forgive how senselessly cruel you are. Well, serial murders are part of the game. It's probably impossible to avoid a little cruelty. I'm not just talking about what just happened. There was the last time, and the time before that too. Tearing everyone's stomach open and stuffing them with sweets. Plowing their faces. What was the point of all that? That's, well... When it comes to closed room murders and tricks and alibis, I'm willing to give you a pass. You want to claim that this is murder done by magic, so I'll grudgingly accept that some of the complicated crimes need to occur. Okay, like what have I clicked on? What is this game? Hi there. This is Umineko When They Cry, and we are very deep into it, but it's a visual novel. It's a murder mystery visual novel. What exactly is the point of all these grotesque murders? Well, nothing much. That's right. They don't mean anything. If you're just fooling around by mangling the corpses for fun, that has nothing to do with whether you're a witch, or whether it could or could not be done by magic. You're just exploring the depths of your cruelty, your own cruelty for fun. Wait, are you also streaming on YouTube? Yes, I stream on YouTube. And these get saved as VODs on YouTube under the stream tab so that people can go back and watch them if they miss a stream, especially for games like this that are really story intensive. Hold on, I got pinged. That's Reno code. There's some things I cannot forgive as a human. What? What do you mean as a human? For example, the 6 people of the first Twilight for this game. Other than Grandfather being burned black, the other corpses were killed in a normal way, without any unnecessary shaming of the dead. It wasn't clear whether the weapon was a spear or a gun, but anyways, as far as killing goes, that was acceptable. It was much better than the nonsensical grotesqueness and cruelty from the first Twilight last time, or the time before that. And this time, there were 6 closed rooms tied together to make a closed room chain. That was sort of interesting. When we were going back and forth with each other that time, to be perfectly honest, I thought it was just a little bit fun. You were frantic to make me accept your existence, and I was frantically trying to deny it. We were both frantically doing all that we could. This may sound weird, but I felt a faint sense of sportsmanship between the two of us. We exist in conflict, but I faintly thought that we might not be completely unable to understand each other's existence. But just now, that feeling was blown away without a trace. That's what you're misunderstanding. That wasn't me. That's not it. Oh. Vortex, thank you for the follow on Twitch. Hi. Welcome to the Challengers. Appreciate the follow. That's not what I'm talking about. You watched Aunt Rosa being killed horribly over and over, and you sneered at it like it was an interesting show. When I saw that, I was deeply disappointed in you. When I realized that your decision to kill them in a slightly better way this time was nothing more than a faint whim, and that nothing had changed in your cruel character, I was deeply disappointed. On the contrary, you were even genuinely enjoying those brutal deaths. You were just acting as cruel as you could to bully me. You truly, genuinely enjoy cruelty. Your character lets you enjoy it. You said I'd probably think that Aunt Rosa being brutally killed over and over was fun. You weren't joking. You enjoyed it from the bottom of your heart, wanted me to sympathize, and said that I'd probably think it's fun. In that instance, I lost respect for you and realized the truth. The problem isn't whether you're a witch or not. I will not forgive that cruelty of yours, and I can't understand it. I can't forgive it either. Still, I'll continue this game of whether to accept or deny wishes. I won't step down and accept my own defeat. However, your pointless cruelty is absolutely unnecessary for that game. So I've decided that I won't accept you as my opponent. Renove is 100 times better. He doesn't have the same cruel hobbies that you do. Even if he doesn't have the awful taste to show it in front of me. That's right. You have awful taste. You're heartless and cruel, so you can't understand. That's unpleasant in an opponent. So I don't want to see your face again. As Battler went on and on by himself, Beto was shocked into silence for a long time. Is the blonde woman bad? Yes, she is the antagonist. So, yeah, I'll say she's the antagonist. I would say up to this point, she's pretty objectively bad. Maybe she couldn't understand what she was being told, and this was a sign that she was doing all she could in an effort to understand. For a while, she kept switching between angry, frustrated, and bold, as though even she herself didn't know what attitude she should be taking. In the end, she made her face into a candid expression, as though she had come to her senses, and shrugged her shoulders as though she was tired. In that case, do as you like. From now on, I will continue this game through Renove. You have no complaints as long as I don't show myself, right? For the time being. But I definitely won't forgive all of your cruel actions until now. And I definitely won't accept you. For that reason as well, I won't back down from this fight you've picked. And I definitely won't lose. That's all there is to it. Beto, no matter how many more excuses you give, his impression will not waver. I have something to talk about later. Until then, stay back. Indeed. Understood. Then I'll vanish until you call. Looking lonely, Beto turned her back to them and vanished. Battler watched, a slightly displeased expression on his face. He thought his argument had been valid, but for some reason, his mood didn't clear up.
あいつは
He's
バカだろ。
an idiot. Sometimes a piece of cruelty is needed to get a point across. Oh. Tough love angle, right? That's true. An idiot. And a straightforward one.
あのバカ。
That idiot watched Aunt Rosa get killed horribly with me,
満面の笑
and
み
then
で
turned around with a huge smile on her face.
あの残酷者。
She really believed that she could laugh with me at that cruel show. She really believed that I could sympathize with that emotion.
本気で信じてやがった。
Oh, subscription! Next, thank you for the sub. Welcome to the tournament staff. I appreciate you using your Prime on me. There's a lot of people on this platform. And, yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. So, hear me out. Let me do my safety save. Hear me out. Beatrice hates Rosa more than anybody hates anybody in this series, honestly. Beatrice loathes Rosa and always has. The end of episode 2, she tortured her. But, like, in a weird way, right? Like, the way she tortured her at the end of episode 2 was like, look, I killed all your siblings. Look, I'm giving you revenge on all of your siblings. I think Beatrice, in a way similar to how the inner Ava had this almost resentment against Ava herself for not, completing her dreams. I think Beatrice might be the inner Rosa that hates the way that Rosa is. Beatrice might be Rosa's own self-loathing and might be like a function of why she just hates that she's a bad mother. She's quick to anger. She's not good with Maria. She's a failure to the family. She's looked at as like the idiot of the family. All this stuff, all this resentment that she's built up. And so Maria always talked about the monster since episode 1. Right, yeah. So like the idea that like Rosa almost has this second personality. Beatrice can be Rosa herself. So the Golden Witch is self-hate. I don't think it's always that. I think in this example, a witch is a manifestation of some kind of strong emotion. And I think the Ava Beatrice is a manifestation of Ava's ambition, or Ava's drive, or Ava's, like, I guess, almost envy and longing to be a successful Ushiromiya. And Rosa's inner conflict here is a lot to do with, like, how Beatrice, again, she's bad with, quick to anger with Maria, she's abusive to Maria. Is it going to go back to the 7 sins? I don't think so. But maybe. I could see it doing that. Right? Ava's could be pride, easily. Here, we could even go, like... Yeah, you could go... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? There are 7 of them. I don't know what's happening, but yes. Wrath. You could have wrath. You could have pride. Lust, right? He's on his second wife. Envy. She wants to be an Ushiromiya so badly that, she'll do basically anything. What does that leave? Gluttony. Greed. Greed is Kraus, easily. And then gluttony and sloth. I mean, you could say gluttony and sloth probably in a manner of speaking, just by process of elimination. Very possibly. And obviously the stakes are already an allusion to the 7 deadly sins. But yeah, I think each episode could represent a stake. That's also possible. There are 8 episodes, right? You have 7 to represent the stakes. Episode 1 was kind of a Natsuhi episode, right? So that could be your Envy episode. This is clearly an Ava episode. Episode 2 was a Rosa episode. Very possible, very possible. But yeah, I think Beatrice, and maybe Beatrice is a different person's manifestation every episode. In this one, it's Ava's. In previous ones, it could have been Natsuhi's. Because if you think about episode 1, Beatrice never made an appearance until, like, we saw none of her. But yeah, interesting, right? Looking at that innocent smile, I felt just horrible. It wouldn't. That's why my point with that all was that's why Beatrice was so happy to see Rosa just get pummeled and tortured, because she hates her, and it could be because she's her own inner conflict, or it could be because she's like Maria and has this like resentment. Who does the predecessor look like? She looks a little like Rosa. We've said that. Right, she looks a little like Rosa. She also looks a little like Jessica. I think just this idea that she kind of looks like people is like... She also kind of looks like Maria. But I think the idea that she kind of looks like people is just... I think she's Anushira Miya. I think she has Kinzo's blood in her. Because there's that other theory that I had that she was a bastard child of Kinzo. And maybe even an incestuous bastard child of Kinzo. What do these say? Died in the rose garden with her medulla. Why do they keep talking about the medulla? Oh, wait. The medulla oblongata controls anger, right? Hold on. I only know this because of the freaking water boy. Carrying multiple important functional centers that comprise the cardiovascular, respiratory, motor tracts, sending sensory tracts, and oral cranial nerves. I know it does like a million things. No, it does like everything. Third row top column. That's Natsuhi. Or unless you're saying Jessica. This is Jessica. This is these two's daughter. Yeah, in the Water Boy, Colonel Sanders says alligators are angry because of their medulla oblongata. And if Beatrice specifically pierced her medulla, they said medulla oblongata like 700 times in this episode. Medulla oblongata does not control anger or other aggressive emotions. Instead, the limbic system are responsible for those emotions. Okay, never mind. Thank you, Google AI overview. Well, the water boy said that alligators are so upset because they're medulla oblongata, not because they got so many teeth and no toothbrush to clean them with. You know what I'm saying? If Maria's death hadn't been a clear homicide, it may have been possible to suspect an accidental death in Rose's case. Maria, her corpse was found in the rose garden. The cause of her death was strangulation, probably by bare hands. Circumstantial evidence makes it reasonable to assume that she was killed after Rosa. After Rosa. Then her blood became red ink for the witch's oath. They got red hands around her neck. So the medulla oblongata is the connection between the spinal cord, thing that leads to higher brain function. Well, maybe alligators don't have no medulla oblongata, and that's why they get so upset. Yeah. that was what Colonel Sanders said in The Water Boy. Okay, we're back. Milady has never had the experience of having a friend. In addition, she has probably never had something spoken to her that strongly. Madam and I are her attendants. No matter what we say, it will not reach her ears. For Milady, this is also... Don't screw with me. I don't remember ever becoming her friend. That's true enough. My apologies. There's one thing I would like to thank you for. Thank you for not backing down from that child's game. She spoke words of gratitude, but for some reason Battler made a displeased face. This, as though in self-derision, he chuckled. Now that I've got the witches and demons thanking me, I'm screwed. Let's resume the game. Of course, I don't think I intend to go easy on you. I wouldn't have it any other way. Unlike milady, I do not get agitated. Oh, chaos changes. Hold on, sorry. Sorry, I just got pinged chaos changes in uni. If you go to a dead character, it shows you how they died. Yeah, for sure. But the way it was presented to us was that Beatrice touched Maria's neck and the red expanded, but they're saying red. I keep having to prevent myself from saying red chili. But they're saying red, like, handprints are on her neck. Let me grab these changes. It said the red expanded into a hand shape. Oh, okay. It said into a hand shape. I didn't realize it said that. Okay, let's... Oh, my gosh, there's a lot. Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. Pause, champ. We might be so back. Fix chaos or we'll keep doing this. Or we'll keep playing Umineko. Okay. Expanded the attack hitbox for dash C upwards, making it easier to use to punish opponents' jumps and easier to use to attack when attacking with Dahaka. When Dahaka was far from the edge of the screen, up and Atom would sometimes land before reaching the wall. So the movement speed is now increased depending on the distance from the edge of the screen, so that it will more likely send the opponent into the wall. When the opponent was higher than Dahaka, the second hit of increased B's repel was prone to whiffing. So the blowback when it first hit is in the air has been changed to make it easier to hit up to the second hit. Wait, these are huge. So dash C is a better anti-air and combos more reliably. Up and Atom, I believe, is 2FF. So it'll always reach the wall now. When the opponent was higher than Dahaka, the second hit of increased B's repel, I believe repel is 623. Which means 623B. This is Under Night we're talking about. Okay, so we've got... Yeah, repel is 623. So 623B, the second hit is more likely to hit. Which is really good. Just to make sure this is uni clear. Where's FF? Up and Atom, yeah, so that's 2FF. So 2FF gets to the wall faster. 623B, second hit is more likely to combo. Dash C, I'm curious to see what Dash C looks like, but if Dash C can actually hit, like, jumping opponents, that's pretty big. Ozzy Dahaka will no longer disappear when a throw escape is successful. Huge. Chaos will no longer lose health when Ozzy Dahaka is attacked. Huge. Also, fighting games are also played here. Yeah, allegedly. The hurt box for Jump C has been reduced downwards. The hurt box for Airborne J2C has been reduced downwards. The attack hitbox for Dash C has been expanded upwards. When using Up and Atom, Ozzy Dahaka's move speed has increased moves forth on the edge of the screen. The period during which Thatcher Prey... Whoa. The period during which 236A can be cancelled has been increased. That's good. The attack hitbox for the last part of the EX version of Thatcher Prey has been expanded upwards. Beautiful. It's not going to randomly drop anymore. Change the blowback effect to the first stage of increased B. The attack hitbox for Concealed has been expanded only when used in a combo. Okay, so combo consistency way up. Chaos no longer loses health when Ozzy dies. Unrelated, you should play a horror game and double the volume for sound alerts. That's not... I will die if I do that.
I've
already made my move. If we suppose that Aunt Rosa is the culprit and died in an accident, I can deny the witch. I do not want to suspect Aunt Rosa, but I think I can bear to accept the premise if I'll beat the hell... I think I can bear to accept that premise if I'll beat the hell out of Beto. So I think Renov now is going to say in red that Maria died after Rosa. I will deny it with red. Rosa's and Maria's deaths were homicides. Oh, okay, he's just being even more direct. Okay, let's start from there. Damn. I'm just not getting fired up. Chaos Change is pretty good. You lost health when you hit Ozzy. Is that a Uni 2 thing? No, that's always been a thing. But his Vorpal trait was that didn't happen. So if you one cycle when Ozzy died, you didn't lose HP. But otherwise you did. And it was actually a pretty significant amount of HP. So now he just never loses HP when Ozzy dies. Which is really big. You gain back probably like 500 HP per game or so. And the cancel window on 236 being a little later is also kind of nice. It makes it so you can frame trap a little better off of block strings. When he needed... Oh, no, his Vorpal trait had like 4 properties. His Vorpal trait was Ozzy dying did not deal him damage. You could cancel Ozzy moves into other Ozzy moves. And also, there was one other one. It was Ozzy moves can be canceled into other Ozzy moves. When Ozzy dies, he doesn't take damage. And it used to be that 2FF was invuln, but they made that always the case between the beta and live. I feel like I'm forgetting one. With cancelable specials, Madge? Yeah, I mean, that one for sure. Am I on monitor? No. Chaos, Mizumi, Vorpal. Wait. It's going to bother me if I don't look it up, so. Vorpal trait. Ozzy getting hit does not chaos lose HP. His tail whip is fully invuln. That was the other one. Which they took away in, they took that away in Uni 2. Yeah. They took that away in Uni 2. So his Vorpal trait in Uni 2 now is... Oh no, it's still the case. I don't think that's true, actually. I think they actually took that out in Uni 2, but I haven't tested it enough to know. When Rosa's and Maria's death is now clear that the culprit was still hiding somewhere, trying to add even more murders to this chain. As he shed tears, Rudolph scolded Rosa's corpse for being reckless several times. But Rosa would never respond to that again. They decided to place the 2 corpses in one of the guest rooms and to seal it until the police arrived. The second murder, no, the murder of the second Twilight, had delivered a heavy blow to everyone. It had blown away the optimism that some of them had held. The thought that a crime didn't actually occur and it was all a game or a farce by Kinzo and the servants, trying to distract themselves from the loss of the people they liked. George and Jessica had spent the whole time since morning talking about every possibility. And they had distracted their hearts by supposing that these murders might actually have all been an act, and that Shannon and Cannon were only pretending to be dead. When that next murder occurred, it destroyed that thought, and they were once again struck by the fact that the person they liked had most definitely been killed. The tears that they thought had died away began to drip down once more, and Battler couldn't think of anything to say to them. After that, all of the adults checked all the rooms were safe and locked, just in case. They made certain that the shutters and all of the windows were down and locked, and they confirmed that no one suspicious was hiding anywhere. On top of that, they checked their weapons once again. They checked with each other to make sure they were mentally prepared, so that they wouldn't hesitate to fire off a preemptive shot if they saw the shadow of any mysterious person. Rosa's gun had been found near the scene of the crime. Someone had gone out of their way to leave it there, so everyone suspected that this was some kind of trap. When Hideyoshi delicately used a fire iron to fire off test shots, he was able to discharge without incident. Hideyoshi, chill. Since 5 shots loaded into it had discharged without any problems, they reloaded it with bullets and handed it over to the only adult male who wasn't armed, Hideyoshi. However, the fact that it had been able to fire off 5 shots gave rise to a certain paranoia. The short-barrel Winchester could only hold 5 shots. In other words, Rosa hadn't fired even 1. And yet, the 2 had probably been killed by someone with their bare hands. This meant that there was a possibility that the crime had been committed by someone whose face they knew. When the first murder occurred, I privately thought of the possibility that it was all an act. My apologies to Dr. Nanjo, but if he had actually been an accomplice, I thought the deaths of all the servants might possibly have been a massive, elaborate act by Father. After all, the closed room situation they were in couldn't have been created unless we supposed that that was all an act. We also suspected that. No. I still want to believe that's the case. My apologies, but that is not so. I am quite old. I might possibly make a misdiagnosis. However, I would never mistake whether they were alive or dead. I get it. Don't go out of your way to say it out loud, Dr. Nanjo. My apologies. They had no way of knowing, but Beato had already used the red to proclaim the deaths of the 6. No, the deaths of all the victims so far in this game. That faint dream that was all a farce, that the victims were actually alive? I'm sorry to say, but that's impossible. In that case, it makes more sense to assume it's someone familiar with the mansion, someone hiding around and carrying out a really well-polished crime. So ever since the typhoon came to this island and sealed it off from the outside world, there's been more than 18 people here. Of course, there was no way for them to know about that either. That claim of Rudolph's had also been denied in red. There's no more than 18 humans on this island. I might have a way to look at it that keeps things consistent at least a little. Simply put, this person in hiding is someone who shouldn't really be on this island right now. And yet, there's a likelihood that they were someone Rosa knew, someone she'd let her guard down around. So for example, could it be a servant who wasn't on this 2-day shift? It's hard to be certain about that one. When our servants finish their work and leave the island, it isn't as though we punch their ticket or something to make sure. If we're supposing that a servant on a shift from a few days ago only pretended to leave the island and actually stayed here, that would be hard to deny. That's super copium on their part? Yeah, for sure. I don't think Rosa is such a fool. If a servant who wasn't supposed to be here popped up in front of you, wouldn't you be on your guard? I'm not even sure we should be assuming that it was someone she recognized. Yep, that's exactly what, yeah. Welcome to my world. Say something, the VN immediately says it. Maybe they suddenly attacked Rosa from the darkness and were about to steal her gun. Then Rosa fell, hit her head against the fence, and stopped moving. The guest house was nearby, and they wanted to avoid the sound of gunfire, so they killed Maria with their bare hands. So, the game set up pretty well here that I had a thought that, you know, that with the headaches and everything, maybe some of these characters are sleepwalking. And Ava is the one who actually did this in like a sleepwalking fit, but Hideyoshi was holding her hand the whole time. There's also that possibility. Still, even if that is the case, would they really intentionally leave Rosa's gun at the scene of the crime? We don't know what the culprit's armed with, but they've got to feel insecure about our guns. Wasn't that the perfect chance for them to thin out our supply? Why would they intentionally leave it at the scene of the crime? Maybe it was Hideyoshi? Could totally have been Hideyoshi, actually. At first, I thought that gun was a trap. That's what chessboard thinking says it should be. Yeah, actually, Hideyoshi's basically the one without an alibi right now. That's what chessboard thinking says it should be, but purposely leaving it the way they wanted to make one of us touch it. And that must have wanted to make us, and they must have wanted to make us pull the trigger. I was sure that something dangerous had been done to it, to make it explode and cause massive injuries. But it was actually okay. The culprit probably panicked. I'll bet right now, they're regretting that they missed their chance to steal a gun. Yeah, Hideyoshi's actually acting quite sus. I don't like it. It ticks me off. Like, it's a message from the witch, saying she isn't even scared of guns. However, in any event, this is truly a fearsome opponent. Even at a glance, they should have been able to tell that Rosa had a gun. To think that they attacked her despite that, the fact that they are unafraid of guns should not be taken lightly. It makes sense the gun wasn't a trap because Hideyoshi now gets a gun. If it was Hideyoshi, yeah. Indeed. It says Natsuhi says, we should probably be even more cautious than we have been. This is just for peace of mind, but... And at the time we think Rosa was attacked outside, where was everyone? Natsuhi and I were here, along with Rudolph and Kairi. I can guarantee their alibis. Ava and I were together. I can guarantee that. George, Jessica, and I were together. When Aunt Rosa yelled at us to return to the second floor, we retraced our steps back to the cousin's room, all dejected. Back then, if we hadn't let Maria go, if it was him, he could make it seem like a trap, but not be, to make everyone comfy with him having one. Right, yeah. Saying that isn't going to change anything. Nanjo. I was reading a book in a room on the second floor. I was by myself. No one can verify my alibi. But I believe everyone saw me return to the second floor with the children. Once I say this, it'll never end. But what if you jumped out the window, attacked Rosa, then climbed back up using a rain gutter or something? Don't be absurd. How could I perform a feat such as jumping down from the second story, or climbing up with this old body? Let us stop suspecting each other. It's more important that we trust each other and, for the children's sake as well, defend this place until the very end. You're right. It's like Natsuhi says. For now, let's stop suspecting each other. That's right. We may be useless as far as searching for the culprit is concerned. We can only stay alive until tomorrow, inform the police, and follow their instructions. Because the police will definitely expose who the culprit is. Hideyoshi makes a lot of sense for this one. Hideyoshi may have dressed as her wife and killed Rosa and Maria. What is it, Ava? Is your body still feeling bad? Mom, what's wrong? Are you okay? Sorry. It looks like my fever is still strong. I'll be fine, so leave me alone. When they looked, they saw Ava staring at the floor, her breathing harsh again. She had been able to act firm for a time due to the urgency of their situation, but it seemed her body wasn't at its best after all. Yeah, I killed those two. Now we're the only ones who know about the gold. I won't give up even a scrap to the other siblings. What have you done? There was so much of that gold, right? Giving Rosa and the others their share wouldn't have been a problem at all, right? It would. That gold is to be passed on only to the head of the Ushirimiya family. That's because it, as a whole, represents no more or less the honor of the head. To wound that even a tiny little bit is definitely not something that I, the new golden witch Beatrice, will permit. Do you plan to continue these murders according to the witch's epitaph? Do you actually plan to become a murderer 5 more times? Yeah. If I don't finish this annoying ceremony, it seems my power as a witch won't become complete. Hey, me. The power of the witch is really awesome. It can make all the crazy things we imagine become reality. The power to make dreams more than just dreams. Now that I've learned of this power, I can no longer stop being a witch. If I can finish the ceremony and make my power complete, I'm sure to be able to teach you that feeling too. Stop acting like a fool. Haven't you played at being a witch enough? We found the gold, and we've even been promised the position of the successor. We'll probably need a tightrope walk just a bit, but by now, that's a dream that will definitely come true. Beyond that, what more could you wish for? I wanted to become a witch. I don't give a damn about that dream. That's right. Because I kept holding on to that dream, I've lived at this age forever. When you become an adult, you throw that dream away. No matter how long you wait, there's a rabbit holding a clock. No matter how long you wait, the rabbit holding a clock won't visit you, and you won't be able to meet Humpty Dumpty. Of course, you definitely won't be invited to the Land of Cards. Because you gave up and accepted all that, you became an adult. Huh, if I want to be invited to the Land of Cards, I need to avoid becoming an adult. Naruhodo. So you don't want to become a witch or anything like that anymore. You've even forgotten that it truly was your own dream at one point. Stop it. I've already gotten my hands on 2 dreams. The gold and the position of head. That's more than enough. So please, your dream has nothing to do with me. Stand down. No way. Magic's too interesting. Also, those 2 dreams of yours both came true because of my magic. It wouldn't be fair if my dream didn't come true too. I'm grateful for your magic, and I acknowledge that you're a real witch. So just stand down and return to the inside of my heart. and never appear again. No way. We're both misunderstanding each other, aren't we? That's right. I'm not you anymore. She's saying you'll never win nationals once you become a Weiji? I have to prove that wrong. You are Ushiromiya Eva. I am the Golden Witch, Beatrice. So it's not my responsibility to go back inside your heart. I guess I feel like a butterfly who's broken out of her cocoon. Meaning you. The fever is making my mind cloudy. My inexperience with magical power is forcing me to support it with your vitality. Oh, until I finish the ceremony and become a full witch, you might have to bear the burden. I'll take that as payment for making 2 of your dreams come true. Get it twisted, you have to choose life or livelihood in this world. You cannot have both. Oh no, that's too much. That's too real. It's fine, don't worry, okay? For the remaining 5 sacrifices, I'll avoid your family. Let's see. Rudolph, Kairi, Kraus, Natsuhi. After that, what about Nancho? Perfect. I'll kill those 5 people. Could you call this murder announcement revealed only to you? Edge. Ava finally crouched down. Hideyoshi rushed up to her and lent her his shoulder. Woman kneeling covered in magic. Are you okay? Let's take it easy and rest. Are you alright? Dr. Nanjo, take a look at Ava. When Nanjo and George tried to approach, Ava made a gesture to stop them. Thank you. I'm fine, Dr. Nanjo. I'm taking medicine. I apologize for saying this during such an extreme situation, but let me rest a little longer. Mom, I'll lend a hand too. Thank you. I'll be fine as long as your father watches over me. Go back to the second-story cousin's room and don't come out no matter what. Understood? No matter what happens, you must not leave the guest house. Outside. That witch will... Don't talk anymore. Sorry, everyone, but I'll be watching over Ava in our room. Tell us if something happens. Hideyoshi and Ava retreated from the lobby. However, Ava wasn't the only one who wasn't feeling good. They hadn't gotten a wink of sleep since the previous night and had been pressed by tension since that morning. They were mustering their energy to protect their families. But they relaxed even a little. Surely everyone would be down and out. This is reminding me of in episode 1 when Rudolph said, "Hey, I might not survive the night." I really want to know what's going on. Everything has gone as planned until now, but from here on, it will become difficult, you see? Difficult? Yes. Normally, as the ceremony progresses and the victims increase in number, they begin to tighten their guard. And in most cases, they hole up in one place and stop moving. That is extremely inconvenient for us. Are you saying that we witches are inferior to a bunch of humans in a group? Witches are never inferior to humans. However, perhaps you could say that times change, and that humans have gotten their hands on a poison. This wasn't a problem long ago when people believed in witches. But just like that annoying battler, people in the current era deny magic on a fundamental level. In other words, their existence itself is anti-magical. As a result, at some point, they grow to possess a toxin inside their body that denies magic. In other words, you're saying that the more humans there are, the stronger that magic-resisting toxin gets, and the greater the disadvantages for us witches? The combined amount of power in their hearts that denies magic, in other words, their magic resistance power, becomes the denominator in the equation of your magic's power. Understand? Is that a bit too difficult? You're joking. I understand it easily. In other words, you're saying that the more people there are who don't believe in magic, and the stronger their will is, the more the effects of our magic are divided. Yeah, it's so formulaic. I have to rethink my method of attack. Umineko's back? Yeah! I'm back from a lot of my traveling. Fundamentally, magic possesses a vast power. It can even make a rain of fire fall from the heavens or divide a sea. Reviving a lost life isn't impossible either. However, that power is extremely weak against the toxin that rejects it. And that toxin started piling up in humans since the time they forgot to respect things sacred. Right, so they talked about this in the first episode Tea Party when it's like, we gotta get Battler to believe to... I feel like Battler in particular has this, like, insanely powerful magical toxin in him. He's like a special chosen one who hits... I kind of flipped it the other way, too. I said his denial is the most potent, but what if it's not that his denial is the most potent, but it's that his belief is the only one that matters? Because I do believe Battler is slowly believing in magic a little bit more and more as the episodes progress. And it's kind of like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. In the first episode, we saw very little magic. I would argue 0 in the first episode. And then Battler started believing a little bit by the end. So a little bit of magic ekes out. And then that gives Beatrice this ability to use tons of magic by the second episode. And Battler believes a little more. So now Beatrice uses more and more magic. I think that's my primary through line on theories, is that Battler, uniquely, for some reason, Battler is the one who is magical. Yes, that does make Battler the witch. I think Battler is the one with the true power, and it's his belief system, because they talked about magic being a belief thing this entire game. And Beatrice is so desperate to get Battler to believe that she is a witch, because if he believes that, she will be a witch. And he'll kind of imbue his power into her. So the more he believes, the more power everybody can get. So she has to start with like really cold logic, but can get a little, freakier as he starts to believe more. And so I think that is my primary through line for this game. Until finally, this earth was covered with enough toxin that the miracles of magic could not be displayed. Thus, witches from across the world were chased from their dwellings. They had been forced to choose to throw away their magic and live as humans, or else live in hiding in remote areas where the toxins of humans did not reach. Battler's a 40k orc. That's a really good comparison. In that sense, Rokujima, with its population of only a few dozen humans, was extremely favorable for witches. And even more favorable was the existence of the ghost story about the witch who lived here. It would be weird if Beto was Battler's witch? Maybe. In other words, by permitting the island with the fear that the witch might exist, the magic-resisting toxin from the humans was weakened. A small population, and room for them to acknowledge magical beings. What if the game was called Umi Freaky and... I'm not going to read all that. In other words, minds that were only weakly anti-magical. Only by existing in the valley where those two converge could a witch live in modern times. I see. So using this formula, we can arrive at several rules for how a witch can use her power effectively. The first is presentation. The first is the promise. Create a murder scene that couldn't conceivably have been done by humans, decorated in an occult way. Make it look very much like a witch exists, and permeate people with fear to make them believe that the witch exists. As a result, the anti-magic power in the denominator for our magical power will be decreased. I see, so this is why the creepy magic circles of the first Twilight were created. That's exactly right. First is the pledge. You show the audience something ordinary. Birds arrive. The gaudy scenes for the first Twilight in each game are all for that reason. It's definitely not as though I like being cruel or I'm doing it for fun. In that case, predecessor, you failed this time around. You killed him in a very plain way. It doesn't look like anything more than a simple mystery. I hear about the last time and the time before that from Renov. You should have damaged the corpses more grotesquely like you did then, making it look more fantasy and instilling fear in those people. Well, about that, I thought it wouldn't be awful to do that every time, you see. It's not magic. So peak. I also think this might just be the prestige, and there might be two roses. Don't think too deeply on it, it's just a whim. Actually, it really had been her whim. After what Battler had said to her, she couldn't say it out loud anymore. She had really had decided her methods of killing based on mere whims. No, it wouldn't be better to say that she had half-heartedly let Renov decide? After all, she left the closed rooms of this game's first Twilight to him. But if she had a cruel idea, then she would surely have explored the limits of atrocity even worse than in the previous game. You told me to show some restraint when deciding Rosa and Maria's deaths, too. But that wasn't a course of action beneficial to us witches, either, was it? In actuality, by now, none of them believed one bit that a witch actually exists. They're totally sure that it's a mystery, not a fantasy. Oh, raid! Raguna, thank you for the raid. Hi, raiders. Welcome, welcome. My name is Rysair. Tournament organizer and VTuber. Largely play fighting games on this channel. Yo, yo, yo. Hello, hello. playing some Warframe. Heck yeah. Hope you're doing well. Whoa. Oh, it's Street Fighter 6. Like, what am I looking at?
Not today, you goddamn abomination.
You got the Guile skin? The Goulet? Thank you for the raid. I hope you had a good stream. Welcome in, everybody. Hope you're having a good night. If you gotta run, I totally understand. If not, sit around and get comfy. We are reading Umineko, which we've been doing for the past, like, 17 streams, but I can't get enough. That was an old clip? Yeah, it always plays an old clip. It does. I can't believe anything, not gonna lie, until it can be more sure everyone has a twin just in case it's needed. Exactly. Totally sure it's a mystery, not a fantasy. The turn of the events is a failure from the witch's perspective. For some reason, you keep doing things in a kind of lukewarm way, predecessor-sama. Oh, and spoilers for Umineko. Lady Palupatina, thank you for the follow. Hi. Welcome to the Challengers. Good to have you here. This is a test passed on from my predecessor to you. Take it with respect. Here to relax and vibe? Love to hear it. Yeah, we're going to get to the end of this chapter and then call it. But, yeah, stick around for the little bit that we'll be here. Take it with respect. Beato tried to laugh heartedly, but it was obviously the fake laugh of someone trying to cover something up. And the new witch shrugged with a sigh. At this stage, it's probably too late to create a scene and reduce the anti-magic power. In that case, there's another move. Getting the humans to split up should work. Indeed. That is probably the most effective way. The smaller the number of humans, the more the denominator shrinks. Not gonna lie, the magic system is very cool, and 100 I hear someone whistling, and I think it's a demon. As a result, the magical power functions instantaneously. In other words, it all begins from one point. How to destroy this barricade situation and have them split up into small groups. However, they are already very cautious. The barricade won't be destroyed easily, right? Both the barricade in Kinzo's study 2 games ago and the barricade in the parlor last time were very stubborn. Furthermore, most of the cunning adults still remain this time. What does Beato gain from having a new witch show up? She doesn't. She actually loses. The new witch showed up because Ava found the gold. So she's just instructing the new witch on what to do because the new witch inherited the title because she found the gold. This was not... Allegedly, this was not planned by Beto. But I think my initial thought with that was if a new witch shows up, Battler might be more inclined to believe that witches exist if a new witch showed up, because he might be like, what Beto does isn't magic, but what she's doing is magic, because it's someone he more trusts. It's Ava. But I don't think she orchestrated this. I think this is a consequence of the rules of the epitaph. If you wish, I could give you some special advice. In a closed circle, when the first murder case occurs, the survivors always hole up, gathering together to observe each other and ensure their safety. Funnily enough, not only do mystery authors and murder culprits worry about how to break the situation apart, but so do witches, who supposedly exist at the other end of the spectrum. For a while, the new witch poked her cheek with her pointer finger, and after acting as though she was planning something, she spoke. No, I'm fine. After all, this is a test. I won't borrow your moves. Really? Phil, it will be rather difficult to defeat this barricade, right? I've already made my move. I'm pretty sure it'll work. And it'll definitely work on someone smart. Is that so? You really are excellent. I'm pleased to see that my disciple won't be causing me much trouble. My motto is to study things myself before asking other people. So based. Oh my god, incredibly based. Then, if you would excuse me, I have to wait for my prey to get lured out. Indeed. Well then, handle with care. As the new witch lowered her head, her face blank, she turned into the golden butterflies and vanished. Beato didn't look happy at all. It seemed to be lonely because of how little she was being relied on. Not one of them gives a fig for me. You witch apprentice, acting so smart. I'll bet she makes some painful mistake and starts crying. Then, without a doubt, she'll finally realize my greatness and beg me to teach her. The only way she can get more based is if she also assumed people know subject matter when debating the efficacy of something. Yeah. Until then, I shall watch from on high. She laughed loudly on the outside, but a laugh no one can hear is completely pointless. Beto gave up and quickly stopped laughing. Renov chose that time to show himself.
失礼いたします、お嬢様。
Excuse me, milady. The game of the second Twilight with Battler has ended. I see. Good work. What was the result? My sincere apologies. I was forced to resign. By saying in red that both deaths were homicides, I made Battler revise his claim of Rosa strangled Maria to death and then died on accident. But I could not repel his chain of moves placing Ava as the principal offender. Well, wasn't Ava sleeping in her room the whole time as Hideyoshi cared for her? He put forth the possibility that Hideyoshi was an accomplice, and that the two worked together to create an alibi. Yep, I mean, that's the most likely scenario, right? He even suspects Hideyoshi? Couldn't you struck back by saying in red that he was in the guest room at the time of the murder? I also thought of that, but multiple important pieces might have been taken several moves later. And because of this move might be connected to the new Beatrice-sama's strategy, I acted out of respect to her. My apologies. Strategy, you say? Her mind does seem to be sharp. We can let her do as she pleases. It will be quite the show to see how far she can go. I thought you would say that. I see that the uncuteness of your disciple has left you in a bad mood. Hey, that's none of your business. I wonder how that one plans to destroy the barricade going forward. I shall keep a close eye on her. Oh, and... how was Battler's mood? Oh my god. Did he ask about me? It appeared as though he had calmed himself down. He did say that he couldn't get fired up after all, without you as his opponent. Really? Well, that's no surprise at all. If I don't return for the fourth Twilight and after, Battler will probably be lonely himself. And with that, if you would excuse me, I need to go bake some delicious cookies. This game is so sick. In what game can you have lines like that and be like, yep, that's completely in character? I must at least enliven the discussion between you and Battler, milady. Indeed. That guy really was munching your cookies, wasn't he? That's an expression, I guess. It's no surprise that that boy can eat so much. Make a lot of them. It's crazy how peak it is. So true. I think tea and cookies also might be like drugs. Like drugged. I wish I could munch Renov's cookies, Monka. Certainly I should make enough cookies to bury the table. That sounds great. What's going on? What did you want to talk about? Kiri called Rudolph into the corridor. It was obvious that she wanted to talk about something that she didn't want the others to hear. Yeah? I want to go outside. Monka? Kiri wants to go outside. Does she want to investigate the murder scene? Is she the murderer? Find out next time. You want to get killed? Maybe. Thank you so much, everybody. GG's. Buenos games. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out. I appreciate, whoopsies. Hello. I appreciate, as always, having you here. Are we watching Beto's story and we have to play the part of Battler to figure out how it could be done without magic? I think so. Yes. I think this is effectively Beto telling the story. GG's. Thanks, everyone, for hanging out. Is magic actually real? Renov's got the edibles? Yeah. Let me find a stream to raid into. As always, I do appreciate y'all for hanging out. Y'all make my night every time I get to stream. And so we are going to get to Umineko We're gonna get through episode 3 probably on Saturday. Next stream will be on Saturday. We'll probably finish episode 3, so it'll probably be a long one. 4 or 5 hours to finish. And then between starting episode 4 and ending this one, I'll be streaming other stuff. And I'm gonna start weaving in more variety again. So keep an eye out for that. Appreciate y'all being around. Let's stream. Got Lid streaming. Big Lid. He's streaming. Mosin is streaming. We're sending it to Mo. We want to give Mo a big congrats on second at Evo. If I won't be able to catch the next stream, unfortunately, please let me know your thoughts once you finish episode 3. Will do. All right, we're going to send it to Big Mo. Tad Gamer. Y'all be good to one another, treat each other right, make good decisions, and I will see you all Saturday.